see how long I get to stay on.
Yeah, we'll see what's happening. I'm not on Facebook. I'm going to only recording and put this there after that. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
All right. Hockey Nation fans, welcome back to the Hockey Nation live show with Coach Frenchy directly in the booth and Michael Devellano from the West Coast, USA. Michael, welcome to the great show today. We have a quick, amazing show because that's the end of the draft yesterday. Pick round number 2 to 7. Tomorrow is a UFA RFA stop last night at 5 p.m. And I can go all the way. It's a big weekend in NHL, and we try to get all the fun news. We will have to have your impression about the draft, the buyout players, and also what you think is the next for a couple of players on the UFA. Of course, we'll talk more about this the next couple hours, but let's talk today about what you think about overall the NHL Draft 2020.
I mean, I think what was really obvious was even as you went down in the second round, there's a lot of talent in that draft. So there's a lot of potential. You know, you're seeing the effects of guys who can skate, develop skills, because there's players that are going in the second and third round that look like, you know what, they could have a role in pro somewhere. I mean, so I think it's really optimistic. There's a few teams that I really liked what they did. I thought New Jersey actually did a lot of interesting stuff, including, you know, their first 4 or 5 picks were all really interesting and have probably high potential to make the NHL. So when I looked at it, I was like, Holtz looks real good. They drafted Canadian goaltender Nico Dawes. And I'm actually, you know, I forgot that he was up in this draft, and he's got a lot of potential. He's played for Team Canada. I don't know if you know about him, but he's like a German-born citizen.
Okay.
And when they went to, and they weren't sure if you know, going back, he was never part of the program of excellence in Canada, which, you know, it's kind of like the US, you got to get into it. And so they went to Germany and said, would you consider him? And they said no. So he got mad and he went and made Canada and became the goalie. And like, he's a big goalie. He's really good. Their second pick was the two-way forward from Quebec. Oh my God, what the hell's his name?
For New Jersey Devils?
Yeah, for the Devils. Their second pick was really good.
Second round?
Dawson? No, Dawson Mercer? No.
They got Dawson Mercer. I think Mercer won there.
Yeah, so they got probably and they got Dawson Mercer, they got 18. So I mean, those are two real good. And then the second one, they got a real good.
We have a couple of problems, Michael, with your sound. Could you maybe turn off your video and then stay alive with your audio?
Yeah, maybe.
Yep, better already. So I think Dawson Mercer was the second pick of the first round for them, or maybe the second round. And the first one, I remember they pick, like you mentioned, there was a 7th round pick, I believe, or 8th round.
Yeah, seventh, they got Alexander Holtz. They
Yeah.
went a little bit off the board and they got the Russian defenseman Shakir, but by all accounts, he's a big, you know, defenseman that can skate. And then their 4th-round pick was Jaromir Pitlick, and I don't know if you know who he is. He's playing in the OHL right now, but he was famous at like 11 or 12 for YouTube videos where he was showing like his high skill set.
Okay.
He's a pretty skilled player, and he's a legitimately good kind of point of game OHL player. So I kind of liked, when I looked closely, I liked what they did. How about you? Was there anyone that, oh, you know, I liked what Montreal did. Like, they got Caden Gooley, which I know a lot of people were kind of questioning, but I don't understand why. Like, he's a big 6'3" puck moving skating defenseman. He might be able to help you on a second power play unit. They got Luke Tuck, who is Alex Tuck's brother. He's a very similar power forward type guy. And then they got Jan Misak. So their first 3 picks were real good.
I believe I learned, you know, what I mean, like you know how I do, like I'm searching, and you know, I mean, I'm always on the internet looking. Everybody
Yeah.
talk about that, and I want you to mention a bit more about this because I have a lot of discussion with Marco D'Amico, where he's a guru on on prospect, and he mentioned he gave a lot of information. He's really impressed by that pick of
Yeah.
he played OHF if I remember right.
Who, Caden Gooley or which?
And Milak,
Misak? Oh, Jan Misak came to the OHL late in the year,
yeah.
and he's a Czech-born player. He's really talented. I mean, I think he had 15 goals in 25 games or 23 games.
Not many, but a lot expert on prospect put him on their 25 pick of the round on the overall.
Yeah, I think he was under the radar. He's not like a big physical guy or anything, but he's got skill and he can score. So I think he's got a lot of potential. Like I I kind of watched him a little bit and thought he would move up a little bit, but getting him in the second round is an absolute steal. I was kind of hoping Detroit would get him, but it's kind of like, do they get Misak? Do they get Wallinger? I had wanted Wallinger, and that worked out really well. Like I think that's a Steve Yzerman type defenseman. So for him to fall to Montreal, like you guys got a good player.
One player they talk about also, and I have no clue about this, but Sean Farrell.
I don't know him too much.
So he's really great. He's a good player. The only problem is he's another
Harvard
um,
kid, right?
he's another Caulfield, Cold Caulfield um, player. Like he's only 5'8".
Okay.
So that's why
Yeah, he's listed
he
as
got
five
low on the back.
nine, 170.
They put him on
Oh
five
yeah, this
nine.
kid. Yeah, he's from Boston.
Yeah,
He's another Chicago Steel player, and he plays with Brisson, and he's going to Harvard. I don't know if it's this year or next year. He's pretty skilled, but he's not very big. But he's very skilled. He's a good passer.
yeah. You know, he still have
I think he's more
56
of a
points.
playmaker than he is like.
So you said exactly this. Like your last word was is a great passer. He's recognized like a great player to make plays. He's not a
Yeah.
scorer. He's not a guy who's going to fill up, 35 goal or 30 goal. If he's
Mhm.
not, he need a sniper, but he's a type of player who can distribute a lot of puck around him a lot.
Yep.
That's why he is recognized on the.
Totally.
He played with Chicago still last season.
Yeah, with
You know what I mean?
Brendan Brisson.
Yeah. So mention it, before we talk about all the news, the buyout, everything like that. I want to talk about two teams did very well. I know they have a lot of picks, and of course, but I think first of all we need to talk about the New York Rangers. I think they did like of course you can talk about the Alexis Lafreniere, but I think overall New York Rangers did a very great pick. Ground draft this year. I believe they did one at the top with Ottawa. I think Ottawa is another great, very great team. Did very well for that. For
I
on the
mean, the first four picks for the Rangers all I think have the potential to be players at some point. Like Lafreniere, obviously he should be in the NHL this year. Schneider's a safe pick, but I think he's more going to be like kind of a number 3-4 type defenseman. You're not going to get a lot of offense from him, but he's very, very reliable. Um, the other kid they got, I think you could pronounce his last name Coyle. It's William Coyle, Cuylle. By all accounts, is kind of like a two-way guy with some skill. So he looks like he's a good player. And then Oliver Tarnstrom is Dick Tarnstrom's kid, and he actually plays forward, which shouldn't be shocking because his dad was more of an offensive defenseman and played for Pittsburgh. Um, so yeah, I think all those four picks are all really interesting. And then even you go down a little bit, and there might be some potential there. The goalie they got, Dylan Garin, has some potential. I don't know if that really. I don't know. Well, I guess we'll see. Maybe he could be a backup in the NHL one day. And then Berard's interesting too.
I agree with you. I think they are like I think he did very well on that one over there.
Yeah.
Um, I think I think the next one I want to talk about is I think Ottawa Senator just rebuild their team. I'll be honest with you.
Oh my God,
I
yeah.
mean, I think they come from zero, and we understand they already catch up over there, and they have a couple of prospect over there, and then to get Matt Murray, and then now yesterday, for 2 days ago, they got Tim Stuzzle, they got Jake Sanderson, and then they got is it Riley or really Greg?
Ridley. Yeah,
Yeah,
Ridley Gregg, yeah. And then even the Robbie Jarventi, the Finnish kid, I think he's got potential to play at some point. Obviously, Stutzley should be playing right away. He can play center to Kachuk's wing. That could be a really lethal combination. Like, you could have Peter Forsberg in the middle and Keith Kachuk on the wing, and that pair. Jake Sanderson, I mean, if you look at his body, like that guy's gonna be a big, hard to play against defenseman. He's gonna be a big person. Like he's already wide and tall, and he can skate, and he's got offense. He could be a number 1, 2 D. Like it's crazy. And then Ridley Gregg, I think, is more like a third line guy in my opinion. But he's like gritty. Like he had some suspension problems, so he pushes the edge. Like he's tough. And then I don't know, they got some other guys down the line that could help, but the Matt Murray thing shocked me. Like what all they paid like nothing for him, in my opinion.
now, here's the so again, like I said to you, I'm looking around. So the biggest thing that was said because the market of the goalies on the UFA is so huge this year, a lot of players. So they said Pittsburgh don't get anything in return for Matt Murray. They cannot
I
get.
I find it really bizarre to me because if you look at the goalies available, are you that excited about most of them? I mean, really, aside from Markstrom, who's really amazing? I mean, you got a bunch of old goalies and guys that are not at the top of their game.
Yeah, but the second thing, Michael maybe forget because Matt Murray is on arbitration. He's going to get a minimum $6 to $6.5 million.
But isn't that what he would get normally?
Not right now. I don't think so. With everything, the problem people have a salary cap problem. I don't think so.
Maybe,
They will maybe get a Corey Crawford for 1 or 2 years for 4 millions, and not
maybe.
to go with a Matt Murray. Where honestly, for the last 2 years,
Since
Murray did not
2018,
been
he's had a
like
little trouble.
it is not like really solid. Like
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
it's true. I think his dad died or something. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so I don't think he's quite been the same since then. But the guy's maybe a change of scenery helps. Being
well,
relied upon probably helps.
definitely, you know what I mean. Like if a goalie like him, and you can see what Ottawa's going to doing right now. I think Ottawa's maybe
Oh
two
my
years,
God.
2 or 3 years
Yeah, like
before, but
they look very competitive last year. I mean, they have a good young coach. This
yeah,
puts them in a really interesting position.
exactly with you. Let's move on to the next step. The next step is about we're
Yeah,
going to go back with all the trade. Didn't have a lot. I was expect more trade to be honest with you. And when I'm talking about the
mostly.
trade, it's not about the picks versus players. And let's move on a little bit back to 2 days ago, and let's start already. Like you just mentioned, Pittsburgh. Trade Matt Murray to Ottawa, and they got Pittsburgh back. They got Jonathan Gruden and a second round pick 2020 was yesterday. So this is already the next one I want to mention. Nashville Predator trade Nick Bonino to Minnesota Wild with a second round pick 2020, third round pick 2020, and Nashville got Luke Kunin and a 4 round pick 2020
Yeah.
yesterday. Those pick was using honestly yesterday. This is a little bit calorie cap salary for Nashville. They tried to go lower. What happening with Bonino? They will save about $1.8 million, $2 million on that salary cap for Nashville. And then finally, the last trade really involved the players. It was the Los Angeles Kings trade with the New York Rangers, the second round pick 2020, and Rangers send to the Kings Elias Anderson. Um,
Yeah.
I think Anderson a good prospect, never been the the top six there, but
He was drafted too high. I don't know if he was rushed. Right now he looks like a third liner. I was surprised actually that LA paid so much for him. He probably can help LA in the short term. Um, I think though that they're pretty stacked on forward now. I mean, they got Byfield added. Grunstrom, I think, is better than Anderson. I guess we'll see. At the very least, he can play fourth line for them, and maybe they're not too worried because he can step in right now and play like he played as an 18-year-old. What was the other deal that you were talking about? Um, before Anderson, who were you mentioning?
I was talking Nick Bonanno.
Yeah, so that one really confused me because I like Luke Kunin. Now I don't know if Luke Kunin's the best skater, but his numbers mirror Bonino, and he's like 22, 23 now because he's a 97 birth year, and he's a right shot forward. Bonino's very consistent centerman, right? And
Yep.
maybe that's what they're thinking, but Bonino is 31. So I don't really get that, and they pay a lot more for Bonino. So I'm not sure what the logic there is. Like Kunin is a U.S. development guy, maybe not the greatest skater, but he's a good two-way player. I've been waiting for him, and they've been waiting for him a long time. So I kind of feel like long term this benefits Nashville, and then they bought out Kyle Turris. So Luke Kunin's going to get an opportunity to play center, which he wasn't getting in Minnesota, but now they traded all their centers away. So,
Just I'm on the phone right now. Just got the notification from the NHL.
yeah,
Columbus Blue Jacket is going to buy out. We mentioned him a couple of days
Wentworth,
ago. Alan Weber.
yeah,
Wentberg is going to be buy out at 12 o'clock today. So
yeah,
the next 30 minutes.
that makes
Uh,
sense.
we talk about him. They are really struggle on the cap space right now, and they have to sign. Remember Kavrikov and Dubois as a
Well, they just
RFA.
signed friggin'. Why would you sign Max Domi to 5 million?
$5.3 million. We're going to talk
Like, what do
about
you,
this next. We
no
have
sense.
talking about him. That's the reason why Montreal will never give him over $5 million.
No
This
way.
was right on the sky. Bergeron will never give him more at what I believe Domi at about $4 million before he proves something. That's the max he could get.
Yeah.
Columbus,
Like,
unfortunately, the reason they get 5.3, the role they want to accomplish, what they expect from him, he become the second role as a center. That's what they want him to be there. He's still 25 years old, but his pass is not like not only on the ice, is off ice and character, whatever it is. So Max
I,
Domi signed
I
a
don't
2 year
either.
contract, 5.3 million per year at 10.6 million. It was mentioned. Talking about notification, I just got that one also, and involved both of our fans team. Detroit just signed up with no. We don't know the. I don't know the extension, or I don't know how much is it. Adam Earn. Um,
Really?
yeah, Adam Earn just signed up like a 1 year contract. I don't have the details of the.
Yeah. I'm disappointed to hear that. I think he came over from Tampa. Adam Ernie he's a straight ahead player with really, I mean, I was shocked how little offense he has. When he was drafted, we kind of thought he'd be a power forward for Tampa, and he did nothing last year for Detroit. I think he's a reliable fourth line guy, so hopefully
Yeah,
it's not a lot of money. Um,
he's
I
got a
think
potential. He's only 25 years old.
he's junk. When you watch him, there's no way.
But again, my point to you, I think he has a physical. He's not a small player. He's what, 6'2", six
He's
three.
thick. He's a very thick player. He's probably 6'1", 6'2". He's very like 210, 220. So he is physically thick, but he's not like, I don't know.
And
He's a
again,
two-way.
as a four line, I think he fit well there.
There's guys that should be playing over him in that role. Like, but we'll see. They need depth. They already have like ridiculous. They have like 4 or 5 veteran guys. They've still kept Franz Nielsen. They haven't bought him out. They have Filppula. They have Glendening, which I like Glendening. He's good. He's a good two-way player, but he's getting up there. And then you got Helm. Like, I don't know. What do you need Ernie for? You got Giovanni Smith. You got Michael Rasmussen's that's ready. You should be playing Svechnikov. Hopefully they re-sign Timashov. I don't know.
So talking
Whatever.
about
What am
signature, Noah Jolson from Montreal just signed a 1 year contract, 700K.
I?
22
Yeah,
years old defenseman, right side. Unfortunately, Noah, the last couple of years, you know, got
been
hurt.
terrible. Noah.
Injuries after injuries, like almost last.
Well, it's the one thing, right? I don't know if you know the story. He got hit in the face with a puck
Yep,
and in the eye, and he's had major. The best way to describe it is post concussion type injury.
yep.
He was our captain. I don't know if you know that in Everett.
Okay.
So yeah, Noah was our captain. He's an amazing kid. He would have been a great top four defenseman by now, and he had already made the NHL. Like he's tough. He can skate a little bit. He can give you a little bit of offense. Right shot defenseman. Love the kid. I really hope that he's able to come back from this. Like it's been tough.
It was not easy for him, honestly. So hopefully, he's still 23, so he can have 1 or 2 years. He can be like
And
patient and learning. And Montreal's getting more and more on the right side. So I think he's a prototype, a third pair defenseman at some point for Montreal. Talking about
you'll love him.
signature,
He's an awesome kid. I mean, he can. It's just this unfortunate thing. It's really sad.
yep. The big news after Max Domi yesterday was Edmonton Oilers. And I want you to talk about this. The
Oh, I like.
comeback, the comeback. I don't know how you can call it. Like you know,
No, it's
Jesse
good. Puya
Jarvie.
Harvey. Yeah, Puya Harvey. I like. I mean, this kid was what, a fourth overall pick, and he fell in that draft. Like that's where he had Matthews, then Line. Puya Harvey was ranked 1 and 2 with Line. Like he's obviously not that player, but he's a big 6'4" winger who still can shoot and score, and he goes to scoring areas. And they totally mishandled the guy and didn't develop him. So he was frustrated. He wanted to change his scenery. Ken Holland stood his ground last year. He went to Finland, had an amazing year in Finland.
Yep,
Now I
53
think
point, 50.
he's capable. He's capable of being an 18-20 goal guy, and he might be more. You never know because he was playing with Milan Lucic. Why would you play that guy with Milan Lucic? That's your line. Like it was ridiculous.
Yep.
They should have, if they played him with McDavid or they played him with Draisaitl, he would have developed quickly. And they never gave him that chance. And when he would go up, you would see he was getting opportunities, and he had 12 or 13 goals the 1 year. So he's already capable of doing that, and he's a better player than he was then.
2 year
So
contract,
I think it's a great
2.5.
move. They didn't have to pay a lot.
Two
Yeah, and
year
the way the
contract.
contract is structured, it's like 900 grand, and then it's like 1.4. So it works out to 1.1 cap hit, and he gets a big raise in year 2.
And talking finally about the signature Chandler Stephenson from Vegas. Wow, he got a little bit
He got a lot of money.
4 year contract, 2.75 millions. Um, you know, he's 26 years old. I think it's a good contract for him. Shiker, Vegas gets a good solid third, four line there at under $3 million, and he
Too much
can
money.
score. He's not like a 20 goal, but I think his role inside that team is really solid.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
too
But
much.
again, he scored,
I
you
don't
know
get
what I
the
mean? He
money.
never scored more than 6 goals per year.
Yeah, that's insane.
So they bid a
Makes
lot of money, but problem in Vegas is their salary cap. You know what I mean?
Well, then you go do that. Like, why would you do that?
Um,
There's
yeah,
so many guys that are getting released from RFA, like that are as good as him.
yeah. So talking about this situation, let's move on with a couple of buyout and situation. Was a couple of players. What's next for them, and maybe finish the next 20 minutes on the UFA prepare or maybe a prediction for tomorrow. But talking about buyout, let's go with Nashville. After the trade with Nick Bonino, they buy out yesterday. Carl Duris. Cal Duris carry on a 4 years contract at $6 million. Um, that gave them right now say $4 million per year for Nashville. They still have a $2 million $2 million under salary cap for the next 8 years.
Good. It's crazy. I
So
mean, listen, they were done with him. He was not playing well. He's definitely not a $6 million player. Nobody was willing to take any risk, even if they ate 30 or 40% of the contract. You don't want to pay him 3.6 to not be able to play third line. Like it didn't make any sense. I don't know how he fell off so much because I thought he used to be a decent player and he came across on a big deal, but whatever. It's you could kind of see if they couldn't move him, they were going to buy him out.
now to do this,
It's on
that
him.
that's saved now at $6.5 million per year more for the salary cap for Nashville. Now the talking last night with Elliot Friedman was Nashville now because you have a it's definitely official. Taylor out not return with Arizona Coyotes.
Yeah.
The new manager there, Bill Armstrong, announced that news late last night, and Al is on the top list of Nashville.
Um, yeah, I mean they've got Matt Duchene. Both of those guys were 91s. I don't know how much they really know each other, but they were always very competitive. Like I think I mentioned to you when I coached with the Toronto Junior Canadians that one year, and I was at the OHL Cup. We had Ryan O'Reilly, Kingston had Taylor Hall, and then the North Central Predators had Matt Duchene, and they went 1, 2, and 3 in the OHL draft. So they've always been kind of linked a little bit.
Yep.
Um, Taylor had a lot of success in the OHL. Matt did too, but not like championship wise. Like Taylor won 2 Memorial Cups with Windsor, and I think I could see it. Both those guys want to win. I'm not sure. Does Taylor Hall put you over the top there? Maybe. I'm not sure. He wants to win. I mean, that's obvious. He'll go to a team for 6 million, I bet. And they already did. They're not going to re-sign Granlund, so that saves them another chunk of cash. So they've got some money to play with. It would be an interesting destination for him. I think he really has to believe a team's going to win, though.
I agree with you. Let's move on. Let's see on
Oh,
this
by the way,
thing. Go ahead.
so the other thing that's there is John Hines. So John Hines was his coach in New Jersey, right? And he had probably one of his best years there. So I don't know what his relationship was with John Hines, but that'll be interesting to watch. I don't think John Hines is the right coach there, but maybe he does.
Yeah, maybe we'll see what happening. Talking about buyout, I'm going to give you a list of the buyout and maybe give us a little bit your impression about them. First of all, let's move on with Ottawa. Was a little bit surprised me. Anthony Tugler got buyout yesterday. Tugler
Jesus
scored
Christ.
23 goals last season,
I know.
but he
So,
scored only one goal for the last 29 game, or two goals the last 29 game. That's the reason he's demand he have no agent. He's
yeah, that's what I was going to say.
represent by himself, and
He's
Dorian
freedom.
feel like no connection with him about the money situation and everything like that. So that's one reason
No.
why this the problem he get right now. So he got buy out yesterday. I think Anthony Duclair could be a player, good role at third line. Um, for me, I think he can be on with many team in the NHL about that one. And I said, you know, I think he should sign.
There's something wrong there with the person, not the player, right? Like as a player, he's shown he can score. He ran into problems in his previous team where he wasn't fitting in. He had a lot of skill and potential. He goes to Ottawa, again shows he can score in the NHL, and he makes this decision to be his own agent, and it turns contentious. And he's it's like you can't represent yourself in that situation. I get why Drew Doughty or I get why Alexander Ovechkin rep themselves. Like there's no negotiation there.
Yeah.
It's like what's the number and take it, right? This one is like a guy that definitely should have had an agent.
I believe it can be a good a contract 1 year, $2 million, 1.5 to $2 million. Get him a 1 year. Said to Claire, show us what you can do, and we'll give
Nah,
you some more money
he's
after that.
he's looking for a lot of money, and he might price himself out of the NHL.
But the problem at that, Honestly, it's not a good year to ask for money.
Well, it's never a good year to be your own agent, Pierre. Like that's a stupid decision. There's something about the guy that's got it's not right. Like he's got to be more mature and figure that out.
Yeah, talking about yesterday, we mentioned about him. We talked about Matt Bennon from Oilers. I
I'm
think
a
he's a
little
bit
surprised about
surprised.
that. I was surprised about it. Like he's a pretty reliable third pair defenseman. Like he's a right shot. He was only 1.8 or 1.9 million.
Yeah,
I
the
don't know.
the discussion between Ken Olin said, they like him. Unfortunately, it's a business size, nothing against him. So that's the solution with Matt Benning. Going to talking about New Jersey earlier, Marco Marner got buy out. Mirko, sorry, not Marco, Mirko Marner. Um,
Mirko, yeah, he's a Swiss kid.
yeah,
He played in the WHL.
we're losing you right now. I don't know if you see. Maybe take a.
You know what? He wasn't re-signed. That's what it was. Like I don't think that he was bought out. He just wasn't offered arbitration. Is that what it was?
Yeah. Those situation is like some are buyout and some they are not request, not qualified. They don't, disqualify a contract for RFA. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So this is another former Everett Silvertip. I don't know if you know that. He played. He was like selected 11th overall in 2012 by San Jose, I believe.
Yeah,
Oh no, he was selected by San Jose at 18th. He was
yeah,
selected by us 11th overall. He's Swiss-born player. He was very good for our team. Um, he's never really caught on, but I don't know, he's a decent player. Like I think he's a capable third pairing defenseman. He can give you a little bit of offense. He's a good puck mover. I don't know if he's been entirely healthy, but I kind of like him. Like I thought he finally caught on in New Jersey, but I guess not.
then Mark Jankowski.
That one, he struggled weirdly. Like to me, this guy's a really good third line center that can get you 15 to 18 goals. I don't know if he was looking for too much money or if they overpaid him. I don't know that
No,
contract
it was
situation.
just like let it go. I think the salary return that's another problem. The part they mentioned to him, it was nothing wrong about him. It's
Yeah, he's a
purely
good player.
business side. They said, he was already there before Brad. What's last name?
McLean or whatever, not
Yeah,
McLean.
Devlin or McLean, whatever it is. So
Oh,
he
Trevelyan.
said, yeah,
Yeah, so I don't know if you know the story about him. I think it's his dad is like a big time scout, right? Or a program manager. Oh, he's a program manager for Hockey Canada, I believe. And then Jankowski himself, like Mark, was going to some weird prep school, I think, in Quebec, and nobody knew about him. And then Jay Feaster jumped up and took him for Calgary in the late first round, and people were flipping out. And he's like, no, this kid's got talent. He's going to go to college. And he ended up going that route. And he became a pretty good pro. Like, he's a big guy. I think someone's going to get a good third line center there.
yeah, I agree with
He
you.
would, I mean, there would be an example of a guy that like Detroit could grab and give him a bigger role. And he'd probably get you 20 goals.
Talking about another
Even
player,
if it's on a 2-year contract, like someone that,
yeah.
go for it.
Um,
Sorry.
We talked about David Shore yesterday, so it's another one. But I want to talk about two players from Toronto. They got four out, but the two are one. I'm surprised. Frederic Gauthier got,
Yeah.
I think, is a big guy,
Surprised about that.
6'4" center, four line, scored 12
Oh,
points
yeah, he's
yesterday.
like 6'6".
He's always been there for many years. I think 5, 6 years, if I can be right about that one over there. Um,
Yeah.
so I think,
First round pick.
yep, exactly. And then at the same time, Bracco. I don't know his first name. I apologize for that one,
Jeremy
Brock.
Bracco?
Yeah.
What? They didn't re-sign him?
No, they let it go. No offer for RFA.
Well, I don't get that. So this is a team that's up against the cap. They've got a cheap number 4 centerman who's 6'5", 6'6". and he plays hard. He's not a great skater, but who cares? Like, there's the guy that was like going to be inexpensive and on your fourth line. Jeremy Bracco is a very good playmaker. He's not a big guy, but like he's capable of playing in the NHL, in my opinion. Like, I don't see, he's been big numbers in the AHL. He's a U.S. development player. He can play. He played for did he play Windsor? I think he played Windsor and London Knights in the OHL, and he was big time in the playoffs.
Yep, I agree with you about that one. So a little bit surprised from Toronto about after they signed Jason Spencer for 700,000.
Yeah,
It is what it is. Another player from Washington, Travis Boyd, got also no offering
yeah.
RFA. Talking about Vegas earlier, we talked about the ex player from Montreal, Nick Cousin. That's another one for salary cap problem over there. Vegas are completely the back on the wall on salary cap. They have zero salary cap space right now. So a lot
Well,
of work
don't sign
about that one.
Stevenson to a ridiculous contract.
Yeah.
They're dumb. I don't get that. I don't get that contract. It doesn't make sense to me. I mean, I don't
So
know.
finally,
Whatever.
we have
What do I
about
know? Yeah.
five
Oh,
minutes.
Kitchen.
Yeah, let's finish with a 5 minute. A couple of news around the league. Anaheim Ducks talking, looking maybe tomorrow about Tyson Barry, and they are really interested about Shattenkirk.
Yeah, there's a lot of defensemen that are up, like Vatanen, Shattenkirk, Barry. You've got Alex Pietrangelo. You've got probably Torrey Krug, right?
But it,
I'm
Anaheim
surprised.
Dog,
I
they
don't
don't
think.
want to.
I mean,
I don't
Tyson.
want the. Anaheim Dog does not looking for Pietrangelo for the money. They don't want looking for Crook. They're
No,
targeting right now Tyson Barry and Kevin Shattenkirk, and we talk about maybe 5 million to $3 million to $5 million. So you can see the weight he want to get add more defensemen, but at low salary.
yeah.
They was targeting Shattenkirk last season. Um, and but did not get him. Honestly, Shattenkirk went to Tampa, where he really mentioned yesterday on the Tampa TV show where he would love to stay in Tampa. I think he would get less money to
He should.
stay in Tampa.
I
Um,
think he should stay there. I
yeah.
don't think he should come to Anaheim. I don't understand why Anaheim's looking for a defenseman.
So the another big news is the Calgary Flame are don't think so. They have anything with they let it go Harmonic, and they will let go
Oh, Travis.
DJ Brody.
Well, so there's yet another like Travis Hamonic. I don't know what's going on with him. He doesn't seem to have his head. Like, he sat out the playoffs, right?
Yeah, Harmonic is.
And then
Go ahead.
deal with them.
We're losing you right now. We cannot hear you, so
Trade to Calgary. He forced a trade to Calgary, right?
yeah.
Right. So he was in the Islanders organization. He forced a trade to Calgary, and then he for the playoffs. Like, I don't know what's going on with that guy. They're gonna stick with it.
So we'll see with him, honestly,
Guy,
and talking about the West.
Brody is a big defense.
We have difficult time, Michael, to hear you right now. I don't know what is the problem audio. Um, I know you want to talk about TJ Brody, but you can jump on me when you have a time. Just mentioned Vancouver Canucks right now. They continue to have a good conversation and talk a lot with Max Strom. They really want him. I think now Max Strom feel a little bit UFA because he hear a lot of rumor. Calgary is looking for him. Edmonton is looking for him. So you have a lot of team looking for Max Strom. So the money could be one direction. Maybe Max Strom can get a 1-2 million more compared to Vancouver, but still, I think it'll be bad for Vancouver to not let him go. But we'll see the next 24 hours honestly, we're eating
Yeah.
right now 12
Yeah.
o'clock p.m. and tomorrow we're going to be at 24 hours from the UFA open up tomorrow. So then the last rumor, it came from Chicago. Um, Brendan Saad again and again and again is on a maybe trade bait. Chicago talk with Boston
Probably.
and Colorado also interested by Brendan Saad, but it's what? It's another
Oh
guy
man, can you imagine?
left Chicago to Columbus, come back to Chicago. So would be really interesting about that one over there. By the way, I forgot one player. I don't know if we can hear you, Michael, but Vancouver defenseman, Troy Richard.
Troy Stetcher. Yeah, I was surprised at that.
Yep, that's another one because remember during the playoff, at the end of the playoff, we talk about him like very good, solid defenseman as the third pair over there. I think he was doing his role over there. But again, at that moment, sometimes it's not the player. It's not like they don't want him. And I think right now they are the many manager right now. They have a problem with the salary cap. They have opened up the UFA. I would not be surprised, Michael, and I could be wrong. Some of the players we mentioned for the last 3 days, they are not offering a qualified offer for RFA. They maybe come back to that their own, excuse me, to their own team after they go to
Yeah,
the UFA. Does it make sense to you?
maybe, like I think you're seeing this trend for a reason. Like you're seeing anyone that's bottom six, um, they're gonna have to take a lot less money.
Yeah.
Like Buffalo walked away from Dominic Cahoon. Like I thought Dominic Cahoon finally broke through and was there. They're moving on from him. That's a real good player. Somebody can snatch up for cheap, probably. Like he probably goes under $1 million.
Yep.
Troy Stetter. Like why would someone not love?
I agree with you about that.
Why
So
would someone not love getting Troy Stetter?
we went to the couple of last rumor, last going on for the US NHL for the last 24, 48 hours. More is going happening today. Mike, I'm going to go back tonight if you're willing to have a chance to come back 11 p.m. Eastern time. It's 8 o'clock p.m. I don't know if you're available to do that on that area of time. If it's open for you, that'd be great. We would love to talking
Okay.
a little bit of reviewing a couple of teams, the draft, and also um, prepare for tomorrow the UFA. We're going to make maybe a list of the best defensemen, goalies, and the player, and what do you think, what direction they can get, everything like that. So if you're available tonight, that would be great to having you aboard for maybe a
Okay.
30-minute show tonight, later tonight for hockey fans, nation fans. And I think it will be a great opportunity to be ready for tomorrow because tomorrow, I'll be honest with you, I think we should push back the program tomorrow at 12 and open up when the UFA is going to be open to follow up what's going on left and right.
It's gonna be crazy tomorrow. I'm excited. We didn't even talk about guys like Granlund. I mean, Vatanen. There's a lot of players. So I'm excited. It's gonna be interesting.
Another great day because after UFA was amazing this week, so I can't wait for tomorrow. So thanks again, Michael. We understand and we apologize for Hockey Nation fans. At least Michael was us. He's not like audio problem right now with internet and the West Coast, but I'm sure he's going to be ready and to come back stronger tonight and then tomorrow to get his expertise about the new players going to sign up and see where they are going and also what happening with a different team in NHL. So thanks everybody to be around today and we're going to see you tonight and again tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern time. Have a great Thursday, Michael. Thanks again to be with us today.
Thank you. Talk to you later.
Yep, have a good one, boys.